Survival horror has long been one of my favorite video game genres. Ever since I played Resident Evil 4 back in 2005, I became obsessed with this style of game and have sought out nearly every survival horror title I could find. To this day, Resident Evil 4 and Dead Space remain tied as my top two favorites. I think what draws me to survival horror is the sheer attention to detail in these games. Every moment, every element is crafted with care, so not a second of gameplay feels wasted. I've always known that Silent Hill 2 came before both of these titles and is widely regarded as one of the genre's greatest games, yet for whatever reason I never played it or any of the other Silent Hill games, and I haven't watched the films either. So when they announced a remake of this deeply respected title, I saw the perfect chance to finally experience what everyone has been talking about. With fresh eyes and plenty of anticipation, I dove headfirst into the game, and I wasn't disappointed.
In my restless dreams, I see that town. Silent Hill. You promised you'd take me there again someday, but you never did. Well, I'm alone there now, in our special place, waiting for you.
The Silent Hill 2 remake unfolds through the eyes of James Sunderland, a man haunted by grief over the loss of his wife Mary, who died 3 years before the game's events. His journey begins on the outskirts of the fog-shrouded, eerie town of Silent Hill, where he's driven by a mysterious letter supposedly from Mary, asking him to meet her at their special place in the town. Despite the odds and nagging doubts, James ventures into Silent Hill, clinging to the hope of seeing her again and uncovering the truth. As you move deeper into Silent Hill, it quickly becomes clear that the town's residents are long gone, replaced by nightmarish creatures lurking in the shadows. You'll wander through deserted streets and winding corridors, piecing together the mysteries of both the town and James's troubled past. The storytelling in Silent Hill 2 is easily some of the best you'll find in any game. What might seem surreal and abstract for much of the experience is actually layered with symbolism and tiny details that hint at the deeper narrative. I'm not kidding when I say that I, along with just about everyone else I know who's played the game, found myself on the edge of my seat during cutscenes examining every little detail, body language, specific word choices, searching for clues to make sense of it all. The writing, animation, and voice acting are all exceptional, adding real emotional weight to each scene. Each character feels like a fragment of their psyche, wrestling with their own demons in a world that's both familiar and alien. The dialogue is elegantly crafted, capturing each character's pain and longing with striking authenticity. What truly sets Silent Hill 2 apart is its unflinching invitation to explore the darkest corners of the human mind. The game's pacing allows for moments of quiet reflection, punctuated by jarring, horrifying encounters that serve as stark reminders of the constant presence of fear and despair. Through brilliant artistic direction, every shadow and sound builds an atmosphere of relentless mystery, making you question not only the world around you but the nature of reality itself. Ultimately, the story is a beautifully tragic exploration of confronting one's own darkness, leaving a haunting impact on the player long after the screen fades to black. Now let's talk about the horror, and believe me, Silent Hill 2 is filled with it. This is one of the scariest games I've ever played, but it's all done with restraint. Instead of relying on jump scares, the game builds scenes that are terrifying in a way that somehow makes you want to see more. The sense of dread is powerful, yet weirdly thrilling. The gameplay of Silent Hill 2 further adds to the horror as well. Like most other survival horror titles, it sticks to the standard mechanics such as tough enemies, resource management, and intricate puzzles. But it does so with a focus on minimalism that heightens the tension through further disempowerment of the player. The limited resources available, such as ammunition and health items, create a constant state of anxiety. pushing you to make difficult decisions about when to fight or flee. While these mechanics are present in all of the best of the genre, Silent Hill 2 presents them in a more simplistic way. The player only has a small handful of combat items throughout the game, a few guns, a board, and a steel pipe. One unique aspect of Silent Hill 2's combat system is its emphasis on melee combat. Players are encouraged to rely on melee weapons, an unlimited resource, as much as possible to conserve precious ammunition. This mechanic creates a compelling dynamic where you're constantly weighing the risks and rewards of engaging enemies up close. You need to dodge attacks and strike back when there's an opening, requiring careful strategy about when to defend and when to attack. The balance lies in deciding how much damage you're willing to risk in exchange for saving that valuable ammunition. Silent Hill 2's resource management stays true to the core of survival horror, keeping players on edge without overwhelming them with complex mechanics. Ammo and health supplies are scarce, making every encounter feel tense, but the game never bombards you with endless inventory screens or overly intricate systems. This minimalist approach keeps you focused on survival, forcing careful consideration of each bullet and health kit. The limited resources are strategically placed to ensure you're never completely safe, maintaining a constant sense of unease that mirrors James's own vulnerability. By keeping things simple, Silent Hill 2 preserves that constant feeling of dread. You're always just one or two mistakes away from danger, drawing you deeper into its oppressive atmosphere. To balance the scarcity of ammo, the game also features melee weapons with infinite durability, offering a reliable, though risky, last line of defense. This design choice allows you to confront enemies without depleting your limited resources, but it forces you into close quarters combat, which often feels just as dangerous. The reliance on melee when ammo is low heightens the horror, pushing you to confront your fears directly and reinforcing the game's atmosphere of survival and vulnerability. While this approach adds a unique flavor that sets Silent Hill 2 apart from other survival horror games, I do have a slight issue with the melee combat mechanic. In most survival horror titles, you're typically given some form of melee attack, but it's often either limited by durability, like a knife that breaks, or so weak that it's only worth using as a last resort. In Silent Hill 2, the melee weapons are definitely your least effective option, as they deal minimal damage and force you to get close to enemies. However, they're far from ineffective. Combined with the dodge mechanic, which grants you temporary invulnerability, I found I could rely solely on melee weapons once I learned the attack patterns of the relatively small pool of enemy types. As a result, I ended up with an abundance of resources in the second half of the game, which, while convenient, did lessen some of the fear and anxiety the game is known for. But to be fair, this didn't seem to affect everyone's experience, so it's a minor issue in an otherwise excellent system. The puzzles in Silent Hill 2 are among the most atmospheric and cleverly crafted in the genre, striking a perfect balance between tension and satisfaction. Each puzzle is intricately woven into the haunting world, often mirroring James's psychological struggles. What truly sets them apart is how they blend seamlessly with the eerie setting, requiring players to engage with the environment in ways that enhance the immersion. Whether it's decoding cryptic messages or aligning objects in a dimly lit room, each challenge builds the sense of dread while offering a rewarding payoff when solved. Unlike many games, these puzzles are not just arbitrary obstacles. They're narrative tools that pull players deeper into the town's twisted reality and into James's tormented mind. Some puzzles feel like trials, as if the town itself is testing James and by extension, the player. This creates a shared experience of uncovering hidden meanings and buried trauma, with the challenges growing more twisted and grim as the story takes darker turns. It's also worth noting that Silent Hill 2 offers multiple difficulty settings for the puzzles. I played on the hardest setting and I was relieved to find that it wasn't drastically more difficult than that of the normal mode. The hard setting mainly adds more complex riddles and math problems, but I actually enjoyed this challenge. Rarely does a game make me pull out a piece of paper and a calculator just to figure out how to open a door. Silent Hill 2's graphics and animation play a crucial role in its enduring psychological impact, as lighting and small details work together to create a deeply unsettling atmosphere. The town is shrouded in a thick fog and dim, ominous lighting, that manipulates shadows and obscures details, making each step feel precarious and amplifying the sense of isolation. The environments are rich with intricate textures that reflect the decay and abandonment of Silent Hill, pulling players into a world that feels disturbingly real yet fundamentally wrong. The animation further enhances this immersion, particularly through the characters' facial expressions and body language. Each character moves and reacts with subtle, deliberate gestures that convey their inner turmoil, adding depth to the narrative and allowing players to perceive the emotional weight they carry without needing words. Meanwhile, the voice acting is remarkable. Each performance captures a strange, dreamlike quality that feels detached from reality. Characters speak with an almost hypnotic, airy tone that blurs the line between truth and delusion, mirroring James's own confusion and doubts. This ethereal delivery reinforces the player's uncertainty about what is real and what is not. The Silent Hill 2 remake not only honors the original's legacy but also stands proudly among the best titles in the survival horror genre. The narrative is deep, intricate, and expertly written. Fans have eagerly analyzed its content and subtle meanings since its initial release in 2001, and will likely continue to analyze it for years to come. For anyone with the nerve to brave its horrors, Silent Hill 2 is a must-play experience. Thank you everybody for watching. If you liked what you saw, be sure to like and subscribe and follow our Twitch for live content. Until next time, cheers!